Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth here. So I wanted to do this video with some thoughts on how to reduce your carbon footprint on hurting people's emotions. So it's no secret that a lot of people are suffering today from a lot of either mental health or emotional health, self-esteem, self-worth issues. A lot of people have a lot of insecurities, and I really think a lot of modern day tactics, things like modern dating, just Facebook, social media in general, Instagram, um, has really damaged us emotionally and mentally, because a lot of this is promoting how to be popular and how to discover a lot of your self-worth by being liked online. And so this virtual world is definitely very different, and it does not reflect a lot of the real world on certain interactions that you have with humans in the real world. Now, some of it for sure, definitely, but for the most part, a lot of how we used to survive, many years ago, centuries ago, is a lot different than it is today. And so I just believe that a lot of things that happen in the outer world or the real world is very symbolic to what happens or what reflects of what is going on in our inner world. So there is this battle, not a battle, but there is a lot of like mirror reflections between the outer worlds and our inner worlds. And recycling is such a big thing today. We see online from Facebook videos that the ocean is over polluted, the planet is polluted, and people are finding a lot of creative ways to recycle. You're seeing houses and tiny homes being built out of recycled material. People are creating art as well as backpacks and certain things like that out of recycled materials. So people are becoming very creative on how to recycle. And that in itself is very reflective to the natural world, because nature itself naturally recycles. Obviously, when bones and things are buried into the ground, that lasts for a very long time, but like the body decomposes. All of the leaves that are lost during autumn time are decomposed into the planet. It takes certain types of material and carbon substances to break down quicker or slower than others, but we as humans have learned how to recycle, and a lot of that comes from wisdom from the planet, because the planet naturally recycles itself. So the big thing today is with climate change, people are reducing their carbon footprint. And so I've been thinking a lot about this. I live in Seattle, which is a very progressive-minded city in terms of recycling and composting. I think Portland is probably the most ahead of the game out of any city I've been to in America. So I do think they are the leaders in this. And so I've just been thinking about just reducing carbon footprint in general. And what I was thinking in terms of working with my clients and with my students and listening to my friends and my own personal life experience, I work with human emotions as a health coach and a trainer. And so I'm like a lifestyle manager. I'm dealing with people's emotions, whether it's emotions of life or work, as well as people are emotionally imbalanced when they're in pain. Chronic pain definitely affects the mood. And so, as I'm kind of like naturally just interested in human inner dynamics and this whole dating scene, like why are things failing so much? It's an area I got interested in to do a lot of my own analytics because of getting divorced. I've come to realize that even with a prior video I did, which was in regards to how we need to have a rise in conscious dating, is this disposable IKEA culture that I just say today is like the IKEA culture, that instead of recycling and, taking your heirlooms from your family, or you have your grandmother's dresser, a lot of people just want the new modern stuff, which is a lot, it's cheaply made, it's disposable. So like a $20 IKEA coffee table, you can use it for a year and throw it out, and you just don't care about it. So this type of culture that is bred not only through our, natural progression in life, but also in the work world, the corporate world, has a lot of masculine energy, where they are told that they're replaceable. Anyone's replaceable at any job. And so that instills a lot of fear. And that in itself is just cycling through people that they're just replaceable, disposable human beings. And so in the dating world, I've never online dated. I've only met people naturally. I really believe, and I've been shitted on in 2018 quite a bit by people who just disposed of me like I was nothing, like whether that was through ghosting or gaslighting or whatever, all those modern terms are. But I was thinking, I'm like, wow, we are really going through life just completely wrecking people's emotions. The ego gets flared up when people disagree with us, especially online. And then, that whole like vicious cycle begins in terms of people wanting to express their own opinions. But the thing is too, with being like very passive, let's say in the dating culture, it's just like it's easier to walk sideways like a crab outside of the door than being upfront with somebody and saying like, hey, this isn't going to work, or I'm not interested, I just want to be friends, blah, blah, blah. And I really think that today we need to go through life thinking about our carbon footprint on human emotions. We need to reduce our footprint on messing and wrecking with people's emotions, because it is getting severe today. Like, if you're in a relationship and you're unhappy and it's getting to the point where you're about to cheat, even if it's emotional cheating, that is a huge wake-up call that either this relationship is not working or it's not the one for you, or that you need to actually grow some balls, whether you're a man or a woman, and have that discussion with the other person and not leave them blindsided or be so self-absorbed in your own world of sadness that, you just go on using other people to fulfill yourself, meanwhile wrecking your spouse's or your girlfriend or boyfriend's emotions. And I think that's the same, thing in dating. I don't think you can't go out dating people without getting disappointed. I mean, we all probably have expectations that just because somebody likes us or is interested, that it's going to lead to what we want. And the reality is it might not. And that's the hard thing. But, we can go through life doing things diplomatically and just being open and honest with people. It's really uncomfortable. And the reason why I am also making this video is because in my former marriage, I was very passive on, trying to express certain things because I was trying to protect him and his emotions and, make sure like nobody got emotionally defensive. And the reality of not being vulnerable and opening up, like that in itself hurt the marriage to make it go down. And so I'm using a lot of my life examples to help inspire you so you can fix whatever is in your life, whether it's, lack of communication in your life, or maybe you're just a jerk and you're like, running through and wrecking people's emotions. Like, I've had students and clients who've come and, have told me a lot about what they've done in their life, and a lot of them learned lessons really late in life in their 40s, and they don't ever want to go through life ever wrecking another girl's emotions because they had shitty attitudes, they were very selfish, or they had, uncontrollable sexual desires and things like that, and it made them go and do a lot of things that they didn't want to do, and they knew it was wrong. And, eventually the truth will always get exposed. People, like, you look at politics today, like how much light is coming in to expose a lot of this stuff. Or look at how corrupt the Vatican and the Catholic Church is. I mean, they've been corrupt for hundreds of years, but it's taken hundreds of years for the truth to start to get exposed on how horrible and disgusting some of the things that they do are. So this is a little bit of like a tangent. It's not necessarily the steps on how to reduce your carbon footprint on human emotions, but I really think we live in a cooperative society, and in order for a cooperative society to be healthy and happy and whole and complete, is that we have to take personal responsibility not only for our lives, but for how we affect other people. We're all going to have bad days. But the perfect example of this is the shitty boss that goes into work because his life is suffering in some other realm, like whether it's his marriage sucks or just certain things, he's got like an unhealthy ego, and he goes into work as a tyrant and ruining and wrecking a lot of people's day. just because he wants to be a jerk to boost his own ego. And a lot of those people will go home and take those emotions with them home. And that in itself will affect the family. It affects the marriage. And it's this ripple effect. So in order to have a cooperative society, we have to start being responsible. And, we can still disagree and get into, I don't know, like arguments, but doing things diplomatically where it's not just visceral emotion coming out and being expressed. A lot of this, I thought about this even years ago when I lived in Germany, and I had a conversation with a Danish man. Denmark and the Scandinavian countries are always at the top of the list in terms of the happiest countries in the world, and some of it is because they take care of each other and they understand, they want their future generations and their country to remain healthy and happy. So they teach their young certain values, and they hope that, each generation will continue to take care of itself. And I think that's really easy to do in a homogeneous culture, because it's almost like, the African safari, like lions are going to take care of lions and protect lions, and zebras are going to protect themselves. You don't see zebras really protecting antelopes, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, America is a little messy in that sense because we have so many different cultures and stuff. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is, like, humans are so conditional and so corruptible. And I do get sad when I see a lot of things that have happened in this country, because it's no longer the America that I once knew. And I'm sure a lot of people, think that as well, that we were always the leaders in wanting to help each other, and like the American dream, like you can ask your neighbor for a tomato and stuff like that. I guess that was part of my upbringing from the Midwest, which was traditional. But it's just sad to see where we're headed. And it's like, I don't even recognize the people in my own country anymore, because I'm like, we're better than this. We're smarter. We're so fucking sophisticated and academically, I don't know, wise academically, I guess, these days, and intellectual. And obviously that's not doing it, because a lot of intellectual people still have emotional intelligence of a baby and still go around hurting and wrecking a lot of people. And I think it's a lot of spiritual wisdom that's lacking today. But I think most people don't go around purposefully hurting other people. I think we get so wrapped up in our own desires and our selfish needs and our self-absorption of me, that we tend to get blinded by what things externally are going on, and we're just so worried about fulfilling us that we tend to use or abuse other people just for the sake of boosting our own ego and our own self-worth. So it's really, really important. And this is where I've used a lot of tools like yoga and meditation that has brought a lot of awareness in the body, a lot of hyper awareness. My yoga training in India was very, very traditional. It was almost a little bit like a religion, and it was very disciplined. It was very strict, and they kind of like not forced us, but they really encouraged us to take control of our thoughts, actions, and behaviors, and not even wish somebody ill. And that was kind of hard at 22 when you're young, and you're kind of bitter because some guy shitted on your heart and stuff like that. But that type of level of awareness, coupled with a lot of spiritual wisdom and I guess getting enlightened and building a relationship with God, it makes you realize how fragile humans are and how sacred life is, and why go around wrecking other people's emotions. It's just not healthy. I guess to some degree it's not emotionally ethical. So why do it? Why lead someone on to think that you really like them and that there's a chance for a relationship when there's not? It's being honest with yourself and being honest with other people. And the reality is, people respect people who are honest. This does take a little bit more aggressive form of communication, and I don't mean aggressive in terms of mean. I just mean, like, you can't be passive about it. So many people want to be a people pleaser or not hurt anybody, and it's like, oh, I think I'll look into it. And it'd be like, you know what? Just be upfront. Be like, you know what, I just don't have time right now, like, maybe in 3 weeks or something like that. I just think it takes a little bit more bluntness, and that's where there's like cultural differences in America, because I see this living on the West Coast in the Pacific Northwest, where it's super passive aggressive, completely opposite of New York City, where these people, and I've been to Boston, these people will just say whatever and anything. There is no such thing as political correctness there, and they will not be shitted with. I love the East Coast. God, I need to move there. All right. Well, anyways, these are some thoughts that I have. If you have any thoughts or comments on how you think we can go around reducing our carbon footprint on people's emotions, I think we can all learn from each other. I really think if you're doing well in life, trying to recycle, and like, you care about the planet, you need to start caring about people's emotions. That's not only yourself, but other people as well. And you need to look at your type of behavior. And, that's the same as like, say a married man is messing around, or a single man is messing around with a married woman. Like, he's hurting another guy. And that's the same as the opposite. A single woman messing around with a married man, you're hurting another woman. Like, why would you do that? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. But have a great day. Please subscribe to this channel. You can help me build it. You can also support me on Patreon if you believe in my message and my voice. And have a great day, and see you guys next time. Bye.